China is undoubtedly an economic superpower. In today's Fortune 500 list, the number of Chinese corporations has risen from 95 last year to 100 in 2014. Almost everyone thinks China succeeds through the advantage of its low cost of labor and its huge domestic market of over 1.3 billion demand has pushed Made in China to every corner of the world. Made in China used to stand for cheap and rough, but nowadays, any of the Apple products or Nikes you buy from all over the world are very likely made in China. The quality and the craft are good enough to compete globally. Another important reason behind the fast growth of Chinese corporations, but seems to be ignored by the world, is that creative industries are evolving quietly in China. In September 2014, we interviewed a model management company in Shanghai. This was a large foreign company. We asked a group of young people from all over the world what they thought about creativity, what creative meant in their eyes. Which do you think is the most creative place in the world?
Well, I think one of the most creative places in the world is where I'm from, actually, the United States.
I would say it's Germany.
Israel,
French,
Paris,
Italy.
Japan also.
Italy has so many nice movies, and for example, Malena, Monica Bellucci, and great brand like Prada.
Because Germany is very famous for house music, and house music, for example, is developing very, very fast. And I would say the best artists, the best creative people are coming from Germany.
From France, I can realize that the brand Louis Vuitton.
Canon 对 Sony.
In film, I would say probably Lola Rent is.
Because let's take an example of one of the cities. It's Tel Aviv. All of the city is built up in the Bauhaus style.
Japanese comic and the movies and Electric Shaowanzi, Haizaiwan and Slam Dunk. 灌篮高手.
There is actually a very simple standard for people to judge whether a country is creative or not. It might be a movie or a product. In the past, China has been known to the world for the Great Wall and pandas. In the future, if we want to be remembered by the young people, it might be because of one movie or one product. This will be the creative style that represents China. China's creative industries are evolving quietly, so this might be ignored still. But when we ask them about China's unique element of creativity or of corporations, they could still feel it.
I think everything grows so fast here.
They're working hard, but they are so fast.
Very, very fast.
太快了，都需要闲的感觉。
Slow down a little bit.
慢一点 ，enjoy life more.
Don't do this mass production, maybe a little bit less, but better quality.
Even though the Chinese creative industries are evolving very quietly, they still feel how fast China is growing. Velocity is the trademark of the Chinese creativity. If you want to know about China, you need to learn why China focuses on speed. But if you want to understand China fully, you have to know that it has much more than just speed. In the Chinese language, chuangyi is one of the favorite terms of the Chinese people. It can be simply understood as to create new thoughts and ideas. It is the opposite of common and ordinary. The Chinese people also use words like chuangqin, chuangzaoli to represent the generalized meaning of creativity, whereas in English, it is translated as creative, idea, originality, or even innovation. In history, the Chinese is one of the most creative peoples. Gunpowder, compass, printing, and paper making, the four great inventions, have left behind a string of glorious footsteps to the world. Since the creativity of a nation relies on its culture to be relayed in the previous interviews, why do they still think China's creativity depends on its low cost of labor? Why has it always been ignored? And why hasn't there been a worldwide accredited movie from China yet? That China counts on the advantage of the low cost of labor in the past is incorrect, because before the Chinese culture goes global, the Chinese corporations and brands must pave the path of globalization. And these corporations and brands rely on creative business practices. The world knows Disney and Hollywood spearhead the Americanization of its culture. But few have realized that the American brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's had gone overseas and spread the American culture seed a time ago. Coca-Cola Company was founded in 1886. By 1906, it entered into Canada, Cuba, and Panama for overseas expansion. In 1927, Coca-Cola came to China for the first time. In 1979, the third week after China and the United States re-established foreign diplomacy, the first batch of Coca-Cola landed in Beijing through Guangzhou via Hong Kong. On the other hand, Disney was founded in 1925. In 1930, Snow White screened in China's theaters. In 1983, the first overseas Disneyland was in Tokyo. In 1986, after signing an agreement with CCTV, Disney's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck was aired on CCTV every Sunday at prime time, 6 p.m. It is fair to attribute Disney's overseas culture success to Coca-Cola's seeding. South Korea, another Asian country like China, has spread its culture swiftly overseas in the past few years via entertainment. In 2014, the Korean TV series My Love from the Star swept throughout Asia. It became the #1 hottest searched word in several countries. But the success we see today is actually the heavy lifting done by Samsung Electronics and Hyundai Motor and other Korean enterprises over the past few decades across Asia, and with their core values and culture to the users through their products.
在今天，在很多人都在仰望迪士尼或者好莱坞，它所有这种文化产业带给全球的影响的时候，其实很少人去想到，今天为什么迪士尼跟好莱坞它会影响到全球，是因为在可口可乐跟麦当劳比它更早的全球化。我们可以用一个比喻文化跟商业创意的关系。我认为一个文化呢，就相当于一个蛋糕上面的奶油，而商业呢是下面的蛋糕。在数字时代，我们可以去比较，一本书也好，一个电影也好，它可能只能在1年当中一个时期对你产生一点影响。但是呢，如果我们想象一下，无论是你的产品、手机或者家电或者一台汽车进入你的市场，跟那些电影、电视相比较，这些产品是每天每一时刻都跟你在一起。那些商品代表国家意志的产品，它更能够给你一些文化的传递。
In 1982, Coca-Cola acquired the Hollywood film group Columbia Pictures. It immediately topped the news buzz in Hollywood. Robert Goizueta, the president of Coca-Cola, believed that in order to further Coca-Cola's strength, they must add cultural taste to the brand, while consolidating its iconic American image. Likewise, Japan also employs its cultural products to reinforce the nation's business status. Back in 1968, partnering with the then world's largest record company, CBS, Sony established a joint venture, CBS-Sony. The revenue has risen from 700 million to 110 billion yen in a span of 20 years. In January 1988, at a staggering $2 billion, Sony bought off CBS's record business in over 40 countries and became one of the world's largest record groups. Music brought to life the Sony Walkman in the 1980s and had been worldwide for over 30 years. Whether it is movie or music or other cultural products, there is always a powerful company from behind lending its support and magnifying its products. It takes time for China's own outstanding companies and brands to go global. Although China currently has several companies listed in the Fortune 500, most of them are resource-based or trade monopoly enterprises. They get to expand to the current scale because of China's huge domestic market. However, their products are scarcely known to the foreign consumers. But things are changing in the next round of competition. The Chinese enterprises will display their business creativity and velocity. Business creativity arises from and is led by the corporations and their organizations. Its goal and mission is to deliver business value. Because of the developed market economy, business creativity is very mature in capitalistic countries in Europe and America. Currently, Apple Incorporated, founded in 1976, is recognized as the most creative company in the world. Apple is a representative of business creativity and a model of industrial design. Its core idea in business creativity is to produce perfect products, with the in-depth analysis and research provided by its product design team. Through the industrial design, user experience, and technological innovation, all highlight the final standard of Apple's creativity, which is, the users love your products. Whether it is a MacBook, an iPod, an iPhone, or an iPad, they all made Apple Inc. gain both fame and wealth. In the year of 2013, Apple Incorporated's annual revenue was $170.91 billion. Over 150 million iPhones were sold that year, with a net profit of $37.037 billion. More than $600 billion in market value was gained, making Apple a definite superpower in business. Likewise, on the road, Chinese corporations are also growing rapidly. Lenovo, founded in 1984, was originally set up by 11 engineers with an initial capital of just 200,000 RMB that was invested by the computer department of Chinese Academy of Sciences. In 2013, Lenovo became the #1 seller of computers and the biggest PC manufacturer in the world. By March of 2014, with a turnover of $38.707 billion, Lenovo successfully entered the Fortune 500 list. 62% of its income was from overseas, and it made third place in the PC market of the United States for the first time. The percentage of market share of Lenovo in the American PC market was up to 10.8%. In Brazil, it also made a new record of 15.1% of the Brazilian market share. Japan was the biggest buyer in Asia-Pacific market, with 25.8% of the market's leading position, while in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, it reached 14.8%. Almost in every area, the percentage went up to double-digit share of the market, becoming one of the top 3 companies worldwide. It also became the #1 seller in 12 major markets, such as Germany, East Europe, Russia, and the like. Back in 2004, when Lenovo acquired and merged with IBM PC, its turnover was only 22.55 billion Hong Kong dollars, only 1/9 of today's figure. Most of the media had a pessimistic view of this acquisition, believing that Lenovo was expanding at a speed that was too fast for it to cope with. However, today Lenovo has proven its success. More importantly, the logo of Lenovo has appeared to every consumer's eyes all over the world, along with every single Lenovo product. It is prepping the future to bear and deliver Chinese culture. Behind all of this are Lenovo's outstanding business creativity teams, especially the product designing team's hard work. In 2013, Lenovo won the Best Design Award at the world's most prestigious industrial design award, German Red Dot. This is the first time a Chinese corporation gets this prize in the 60 years of Red Dot's history. This proved that Lenovo's team designing skills have reached a world-class level. Yao Yingjia, the vice president, as well as the first designer of Lenovo, is the hero who accepted the prize on behalf of Lenovo from German Red Dot.
我是1996年，就是实际上确实就是第一个设计师，然后到2000年的时候大概有20几个人，08年左右的时候就已经是差不多接近200人了。那中国和其他国家的设计师最大的不同，我觉得还是他们对于生活方式的理解不同。我们组建一个国际化的团队的目的，也不是为了把国籍放在那儿看起来很好看，而是希望它有不同的文化的背景的碰撞。当你的工作的元素里面充满了不同的文化和不同的人才的这种 客户独特视角的时候，那是一件很 enjoy 的事情。而中国的一些设计人才，或者是在中国这样一个特殊的高密度成长的一个市场里面，它是可以体验到的，并且引发很多的思考，并且形成很多的积累。我们谈到效率的时候，其实我们不能简简单单的去追求效率，而应该去看它的领先性。我也经常把它说，如果是一个成熟的企业的话，如果它能够提前的去做这种前瞻性的预研和技术积累的话，然后能够经过一段时间的孵化，上市的时候它仍然是领先的，甚至是引导了一个新的市场的话，我觉得这样的一个企业的综合的研发和它的创新能力，才是一个比较好的体现。我觉得有一个可能在未来的5年可能会慢慢消失的一个词儿，就是我们所谓的我们是不是很国际化？我觉得可能应该更多的讲我们是不是更加的多元文化。我觉得这可能是一个更客观和有自我认知的一种态度的一种说法。
Design took off in China later than in many other countries. The Art Center College of Design in the United States, which is mostly famous for industrial design, such as transportation and automobile design, was set up in 1930. The history of the Rhode Island School of Design can be traced back to 1877. But in the early days of New China, there weren't any design schools that focused on teaching or training business creativity. In 1960, the Chinese National Ministry of Light Industry set up the first industrial design major, the Light Industry and Daily Modeling Art Design degree, in Wuxi Institute of Light Industry. In 1995, modern-day China, it was expanded into the first design college, the Design College of Zhengnan University. Although China started late, after a few decades of growth, and the fact that Lenovo won the most influential industrial design award, has proven that Chinese product design has gradually appeared on the international stage. Walking into Huawei's Research and Development Center in Shanghai, you will be amazed how both of their hardware and software are just as good as other foreign research institutes. And this is only one of the 16 R&D centers Huawei has all over the world. Huawei has 26 years of history. It is a representative of one of the earliest state-owned enterprises that had been privatized. In 2013, Huawei's annual turnover was 239 billion RMB, roughly around 40 billion US dollars. 65% of it came from the overseas sales, including 35.4% from Europe, Middle East, and East Africa regions, where its basic network, professional service, and smartphone business are improving rapidly. 16.2% of it was from the new market in Asia Pacific, and 13.1% of it from Latin American countries in the American region, where the basic network business and the consumer business continues to grow strongly. Huawei's birth and growth is very different from other corporations. Bruce Lee is the vice president of Huawei, in charge of the most competitive product line, mobile phones, as well as the high-end series phones, product strategy, research, development, and integration. He joined Huawei as an engineer in 1998. Between 2009 to 2012, he released Ascend P1 and Ascend D1 to the global market and succeeded. His mission is to research and develop and design products that can succeed all over the world.
华为一直是一个在研发上非常舍得投入的公司，我们每年都把这个销售额的10%以上的这个用于研发的投入，可能会在这个非常时间长了以后，你才能获得它的收益。我们有去拓展更多的业务领域，包括什么互联网啊，甚至包括中国过去非常火的这个房地产啊什么这些。这些即使在这些行业投入产出非常高的时候，我们还是把这个所有的资金都投到了这个通信方面。虽然现在市面上已经可以买到这种非常好的、像性价比也很高的这样的芯片，但是我们还是坚持我们的海思，我们子公司在那个终端芯片上的那个高强度投入。虽然知道就是说在这个过去的几年我们这个投入产出可能是负的，但是我们还是要坚持去投，要屡败屡战，然后最终达到成功。
Spearheading the Chinese corporations on the global stage, Lenovo and Huawei have been working long and hard on the boulevard of globalization. To the world, it took them a short time to achieve what Europe and America had done in decades. But in truth, it is because of China's huge bonus in population and digital revolution, and it's just the beginning. Other aspiring enterprises and corporations are expanding at an even more ferocious speed in their globalization. Headquartered in Beijing, Xiaomi was founded in April 2010. It is a mobile internet company specialized in smart devices. Born for you, burn for me is Xiaomi's product concept. Xiaomi is the first company that started to use the internet for developing mobile phones' operating system, and fans getting involved in development and improvement. Set up by 14 people initially, it grew to 6,000 employees in 4 years. Turnover exceeds billions of US dollars. Their star product is their Mi smartphone, priced at less than 2,000 RMB. We can look at the following figures to get the idea of Xiaomi's speed. Established in April 2010 with 14 founding partners, and by August the same year, MIUI was launched. The company value was $1 billion US dollars. Within a year, the employees expanded to 300 people. August 16, 2011, Xiaomi Mi 1 phone was launched, and 300,000 headsets were pre-sold within 34 hours. On August 16, 2012, Xiaomi Mi 2 was launched. By the end of 2012, 12.65 billion RMB in sales were made, selling a total of 7.19 million Mi 2. The company value was over $4 billion US dollars. Employees exploded from 300 to 2,000. In September 2013, Xiaomi Mi 3 phone was launched. The company value reached $10 billion US dollars. It became the 4th biggest internet company in China and the fastest growing firm. 18.7 million Xiaomi mobile phones were sold. Xiaomi TV Box became popular online with an annual sales revenue of 31.6 billion RMB. The employee number topped 4,000. By July 2014, in the first half year alone, the sales number was 26.11 million sets and 33 billion RMB. The annual sales of the Xiaomi phones are expected to hit 60 million sets, with over $10 billion US dollars in sales. The team now has over 6,000 employees. Xiaomi is also trying to actively step outside of China. In the middle of June 2014, Hongmi Note, also Xiaomi's brand, launched in Taiwan's online retailer PC Home with a price of 4,999 Taiwan dollars, which is 1,035 RMB. 10,000 phones were sold in just 1 second, according to the local news VR Zone's report. July 2014, Xiaomi launched Hongmi phones for 128 US dollars in Indonesia. This created a purchasing rush at the time. Xiaomi repeatedly succeeded in other emerging markets through the same way. Hugo Berra, the vice president of Xiaomi International, wrote on his Twitter account, "The first time our company had flash sale in India, 40,000 Hongmi 1S phones was sold in over 4.2 seconds. The Indian market is just a beginning. Xiaomi will continue to expand in Southeast Asia, South Africa, and Europe." Hugo Berra, who came from Google, will be responsible for promoting the new products to the world. As a representative of the Chinese smartphone army, Xiaomi is speeding up to expand in international markets and challenge Samsung and Apple. Liu De, one of the 6 co-founders of Xiaomi, is the Vice President of Industrial Design and Supply Chains. Graduated with a master's degree in industrial design from Art Center College of Design in the United States. Between 2001 and 2003, he served as the Director of Industrial Design Department in Beijing Science and Technology University. In 2010, Liu De and the other 5 co-founders established Xiaomi Company together.
移动互联网时代是又一次享受人口红利的领域。你会看到，在未来的中国也好、印度也好、南美也好，就是这些人口大国，它会更容易的取得在互联网领域的爆炸性的发展。经 天我觉得是中国的市场需求到了，所以你能看到各个公司都重视，设计公司都比原来活得更好，然后政府的政策也开始倾斜这个领域，所有这一切都是源于市场的需求和竞争到了今天这一步了。中国早期呢，主要是制造业先行的嘛，所有的设计都是从西方来，中国主要负责制造，所以制造业追赶得非常快。那现在慢慢的从中国制造向中国创造转型，所以再下一步可能我们往上追的是中国的企业的创造力和设计能力。我觉得这是很正常的，这是一步一步，你总是要先做出产品来，先活下来，壮大起来，然后再慢慢的做精品，慢慢做有自己风格的、有自己设计的、有自己特点的产品。第一个就是我们有通过互联网渠道能够真切地了解到第一线的用户他的需求。第二句话是说，我们也是通过互联网渠道能够动员第一线的用户参与到小米产品的设计里来。第三个优势是我们可以向大家提供精品的产品，并且性价比很高。在小米向海外推广的过程中就是依赖这3个优势来推进的。我们今天如果用价格来定义高端手机，这是不正确的，因为手机高端与不高端是跟它的配置、性能、外观、工艺，跟它是不是价格卖得贵是两码事。所以小米因为没走传统渠道，是完全互联网渠道的，我们上来就比别人省了1半的费用，所以说价格已经不是来评价一个手机是不是高端的指标了。比较这几家公司的话，就是苹果和三星，他们理论上说都是属于上一个10年里非常优秀的公司，下一个10年里是不是属于他们，那完全看它是不是能顺利的转型，能够满足下一个10年的需求。但小米从一出生开始，它就是属于下一个10年的公司，我就应该这样理解这个。
When we interviewed Liu De, he said that demand is awakening, and this is a particularly critical point. A 2013 report from the World Bank calculated GDP according to PPP. Since the 1980s, in just over 30 years of history, China's GDP has grown by 47.4 times, while Europe, Japan, and the United States grew by merely 4.3, 4.1, and 4.3 times. But the gap between China and them has shortened from around 40 times in 1980 to only 4 times today. As Maslow's theory of necessities has stated, when people are still focusing on their physical needs and safety needs, creativity culture has no soil to grow. With the growing of our GDP, China's consumer demand is awakening, the time when the market is fully activated. It is also a huge opportunity for the promotion of business creativity. Tencent is the most successful Chinese internet company. Headquartered in Shenzhen, it was founded in November 1998. Provides users with one-stop online life services as the goal. It provides internet value-added services, online advertising, e-commerce, and more. In the second quarter of 2014, its communication tool QQ's monthly active accounts reached 829 million. The highest number of concurrent users online reached 206 million at its peak. It is China's most influential mobile internet company. Tencent currently has a team of more than 20,000 people, more than 50% of which are R&D personnel. Tencent's 2013 total income was $9.913 billion, 60.437 billion RMB, including an operating profit of $3.148 billion, 19.194 billion RMB. In 2014, the company's value went over $150 billion for the first time. Even if the income is already such a large base specification, compared to 2012, Tencent still maintained a 38% growth. A very important reason behind this is because of its other flagship product, Weixin, or WeChat. WeChat was launched by Tencent's Guangzhou R&D department in early 2011. It is an application that sends picture and text messages, as well as video calls. It supports group chat and other online social activities. The speed of its development is amazing. By the 29th of March 2012, WeChat exceeded 100 million users within 433 days, with an average growth rate of 230,900 per day. By the 17th of September 2012, WeChat reached 200 million users within 172 days, with an average growth rate of 581,400 per day. By the 15th of January 2013, WeChat reached 300 million users within 120 days, with an average growth rate of 833,300 per day. WeChat is similar with WhatsApp from the United States and Line from Korea. They are all mobile social apps, but WeChat is more innovative from a product perspective. It is featured with Moments, public accounts for corporations, combined with mobile payments, and well-designed personalized features, such as Shake, which have been welcomed by users. It can be said that WeChat is truly an international perspective app that has the ability to compete internationally. Also, because of this, in April 2011, the English name of Weixin, WeChat, officially entered overseas markets. The same year, in October, WeChat started to support traditional Chinese language interface and allowed users from Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, the United States, and Japan, these 5 regions, to bind a phone number with their WeChat accounts and added an English language interface. The same year, in December, WeChat implemented support for SMS registration in 100 countries worldwide. In Southeast Asia, including Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, and India. Both Apple App Store and Google Play, WeChat is in their top 20 download lists. And once in Taiwan, WeChat was number 1 in both of the downloading lists. WeChat's international team is a team with only a few dozen employees, but relying on the technological innovation advantage of their products, as well as a determination of globalization of Tencent, WeChat launched a rapid globalization offensive. Before entering every country, WeChat makes improved products for the local markets very quickly, combines them with their local culture, and makes suitable advertising plans for the local markets. Another reason why it needs to be so fast is because competition in internet products is very heated. If they lost the first mover advantage, as a follower, it would be very difficult to go beyond and seize any market share from WhatsApp and Line. On August 15, 2013, the number of WeChat overseas users exceeded 100 million. During the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, WeChat signed the Argentinian national team captain, Messi, and Brazilian national team player, Neymar, as a spokesman, advertising WeChat's online activities on TV all over the world in prime time, and expanding users worldwide. Meanwhile, within the shortest possible time, shot dozens of ads showing on TVs of different countries and regions. In every advert, they use the most popular local celebrities and local creativity to get close to its users, especially in Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, India, and Italy. The markets had great response. By the end of the second quarter of 2014, the combined monthly active accounts of Weixin and WeChat has reached 438 million. Compared to the traditional manufacturing industry, relying on products and sourcing mode, WeChat only took 36 months, entering into more than 100 countries. Not only with just speed, but also behind their successful marketing strategies, brilliant products, and their perfect execution. Whether it is Lenovo, Huawei, Xiaomi, or Tencent, we have seen that in the field of product innovation, China has already stepped onto the international stage. In addition to the progress in product innovation, Chinese enterprises' marketing business creativity is also quickly catching up. Many great product ideas ultimately fail in the market due to insufficient marketing support. Chinese companies are increasingly aware of this, so besides adhering to product innovation, they pay more and more attention to enhance the brand and business creativity of advertising. The advertising industry in the early stages of socialism, after the founding of New China, was not open. China's first commercial appeared in 1979, after the economic reform and opening up began. On January 4th, Tianjin Daily published China's first newspaper ad. On January 28th, Shanghai TV showed the first national television commercials. In March and June, CCTV and People's Daily followed by running commercials. Therefore, the modern advertising and branding theory and systems in China both came from Europe and America. At that time, commercials and business ads were newborn, and there was no professional basis or talent. In 1983, Xiamen University opened China's first advertising department. In the same year, Zhongshan University became the first school in China to recruit students in marketing and sales. The world's top-ranked marketing department at Northwestern University in the United States has its history tracing back to 1903. Thus, in nurturing talents, China started 80 years later. Meanwhile, the U.S. modern advertising industry has developed more than 100 years. From the U.S. drama Mad Men, we can see that the advertising industry in the 1960s in New York was already booming. And nearly 20 years after that, China is just starting from scratch. There are 3 international foray advertising firms that have a very strong influence on China. One of the 3 companies is Ogilvy & Mather. Ogilvy & Mather was not the first advertising company that entered China, and it is not the world's largest either, but 2 books have made Ogilvy & Mather one of the most powerful foray companies all over China. One book was written by David Ogilvy, named Confessions of an Advertising Man. This book has had 7 editions printed in China, with cumulative sales of over 1 million copies. Ogilvy successfully established themselves as a leading position in branding. The other book is Ogilvy & Mather's Point of View. It originally was a collection of their staff's experiences at the company. Up till now, since 2001, it has printed 7 editions in mainland China. Most professional advertising people in China know about international foray companies and their advanced profession through Ogilvy & Mather. Another company is Bates. It brought unique selling proposition, USP, to China. This theory was introduced and became a well-known classic strategy in advertising industry at that time. The last company is Zenith, which was formed in October 1996 by the merger of 2 media departments of Saatchi & Saatchi and Bates, 2 of the world's leading foray advertising companies. In the following 20 years of developing, this model successfully became a giant amongst Chinese media corporations. It should be said that these international foray advertising companies have taught us the knowledge of advertising to make Chinese enterprises understand how to market and position their brand. For example, we should mention Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble is the world's largest advertiser. In 2013, its global revenues were up to $85.12 billion US. P&G spends more than $9 billion US to invest in business creatives every year, including advertising, public relations, special events, etc., establishing the brand in the consumer's minds. So P&G is also honored as brand leader. The world's largest consumer goods company was established in 1837. In 1988, China's first joint venture company was established in Guangzhou. It brought with it international products, as well as advanced commercial advertising and branded management philosophies. In 1989, Rejoice entered China. Procter & Gamble's way of using commercials, its presentation of product benefits, its media advertising, and its offline sales promotions help China's enterprises understand how creative commercials can help companies build brands and promote sales. Before this, Chinese enterprises did not have any particular system. Procter & Gamble today is China's largest consumer goods company. Rejoice, Safeguard, Olay, Pampers, Tide, and Gillette are all leading brands in their respective product areas. Meanwhile, China is one of the fastest-growing markets of P&G's global sales. The sales in China now rank 2nd in the world market. Xu Youjia, a RNAT company, is the Vice President of Communication. He served as a Director General Manager of Procter & Gamble in Hong Kong since the year 2000. He has over 15 years of experience in the Greater China region. He is currently in charge of the communication and public relations in Guangzhou, where he witnessed the growing of China's business creativity.
我们派了一个人进来，他就拿了一堆产品，然后呢，他就给消费者试用。当初我们给他试用了那个洗衣粉，也当初给他们试用了一个洗发水。 他在那个过程当中，他有一个洞察，为什么消费者用我们的洗衣粉呢？用完呢，在聊的时候没有什么很兴奋啊，但是跟他们谈到那个他们刚刚用的那个洗发水，他们就非常兴奋，从来没有那么柔顺过的头发。他回来就跟公司讲，我们要进入中国，必须跟我们进入别的国家的一个策略不一样。这种 agility 啊，敏捷度，这种 flexibility， 其实是我是觉得这是我们的一个强项。因为很多像我们有一些同事啊，可能在国外啊，在总部工作啊，或者是觉得说，我们这里1个礼拜可以完成的东西，可能别的国家可能要1个月、2个月都还没有完成。像我们在这样子的一个快销行业，我们的行业是快销嘛，所以速度是很重要的。你如果比别人慢半拍，你可能就已经输掉了。所以这个是我觉得我们要保留的。保持这个速度的同时，也提高那个质量，那个永远是有空间的。
Compared to these international brands, Chinese companies are learning and growing very fast too. So far, among many excellent companies in China, a lot of their marketing and business creativity decision makers, CMOs or VPs, came from some international companies' background. They have rich international corporate brand management and marketing experience. But what they pursue is not only requiring these business advertising creativity to help brand building in the long term, but also to help the sales in the short term as well. This is because of the fierce competition in the Chinese market. The rise of Chinese digital media gives Chinese companies the second opportunity to catch up with others. China is the world's second largest market for internet companies, after the United States. Every successful American internet model can be found in China. Plus, China has become the world's largest smartphone market, which has become the world's internet advertising and marketing's experimental field. No matter in search, video sites, social platforms, games, or mobile, many of China's cases are very creative and advanced in the world. In 2012, Hollywood famous director Michael Bay's movie, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. You may notice there is a Chinese milk brand that is clearly placed. This so-called Shuhua Milk Corporation, Yili, is China's largest dairy group. It is also one of the world's top 10 dairy corporations in Asia. It was originally just a local Chinese co-op farm in Hohhot, but it developed very fast ever since. Since 1993, Yili focused on brand building and marketing, resulting in the first half of 2014 with about $4.5 billion in revenue, 27.471 billion RMB. Meanwhile, Yili Overseas Business Development is also quickly expanding, setting up as a top-quality milk provider all over the world. Yili took the opportunity of the Transformers China release through product placement and content marketing, making a very successful marketing plan and receiving a great return. Finally, from another perspective, through collaboration with a worldwide influential movie, it started a marketing and brand building campaign on the world stage, reflecting the confidence of the Chinese brand. While these branding corporations are fighting in the front, behind them, advertising, media, design or manufacturing companies are all in close collaboration. They are also the most important force in business creativity service. The world's largest communications group, WPP, was established in 1986. Under its name there is Ogilvy & Mather, JWT, Y&R, Group M, Waves, and many other professional services companies. With more than 100,000 employees worldwide, in 2013, global cumulative revenues were more than $16 billion. Media contract amounted to over $70 billion. It is a veritable giant. WPP in China has more than 10,000 employees and a lot of offices in many cities. 2013 WPP, China's turnover, more than 30 billion RMB. In the past 20 years, the business creativity talents who came here or trained here were growing quickly in customer acquisition, strategy, media, and creativity. They all have been growing as well. In the early years, a lot of professional services needed experienced experts from overseas to complete. But now most of the work can certainly be done by the local talents in China. TB Song entered the advertising industry in 1974 in Taiwan. In 1985, Taiwan Ogilvy and Mather was founded. Under his efforts and promoting the United States, Ogilvy and Mather formally entered mainland China in 1991. Ogilvy and Mather is one of the first groups of international foray companies that entered mainland China. Through Ogilvy and Mather, Chinese corporations understood the concept of brand management and how to use modern scientific methods to advertise and spread brands. TB Song is known as the godfather of Chinese modern advertising industry, promoting Chinese business creativities. He has made a great contribution, and he currently serves as the chairman of WPP in Greater China region.
对中国的企业，它在建立品牌的时候，一直有一个迷思啊，在过往觉得品牌可能就是一个知名度，你如何把知名度打响？那慢慢的，大家也开始体认到，就品牌是一个跟消费者的关系，而且是一个情感性的关系。那如何走进情感性的关系，实际上是对中国企业是有难度的，是有难度。事实上，中国的产品的形象在最近几年已经逐渐在改变之中了。它不是以前的所谓的价钱很便宜，然后质量不好。那当国外的消费者接触到我们的产品，接触到我们的品牌，这个情形就会改善。我觉得最大的特点应该就是创业家的精神，这是在中国在过去20年来，实际上我们看了很多企业都是在几年之中都成功。事实上，那个最主要就是说，中国这个市场快速的成长的过程有很多机会，所以中国人呢有一群那种创业家，想要成事的创业家就是敢冲，然后抓住机会，然后把事情做成。中国的文化、中国的电影、中国的娱乐、中国的音乐这些东西如何逐步的在全世界普遍化或让人家接受，那这个都需要时间的。有这个为基础之后呢，所谓中国的创意或者中国的广告创意才能够逐步在全世界各地呢被普遍的接受。中国最大的特点就是人才无限，只在于说你能不能找到人，然后去培养他们。所以最重要的是找对人。就10年在中国就有很多新的东西出来。
Through foreign advertising companies, especially those 4A companies, are the pioneers of China's advertising industry. Local companies grow more rapidly. Along with China's capital market becoming active, we have many listed companies focusing on communication, including Blue Focus. Originally started as a PR company, founded in 1996 and headquartered in Beijing, it has now 23 offices nationwide and nearly 5,000 employees. In early 2010, the Blue Focus was listed on the second board market and became the first listed Chinese PR company. In the first half of 2009, operating income was only 143 million RMB, which was less than $25 million US. However, the first half of 2014, the number reached 2.6 billion RMB in revenue, approximately 450 million US. Its value has increased 18 times in 5 years. The market value is nearly 300 billion RMB. Domestic Chinese capital market gives local communication companies almost 40 times of price-earnings ratio. Compared with WPP and other communication groups, local ones get 3 times more capital premium, and that allowed them to grow more rapidly. During the first visit of the famous international 4A company, Gray Worldwide's global headquarters in New York's Madison Avenue in 2005, I was shocked by seeing a 37-floor building with more than 1,800 people working in it. And 10 years later, in Zhoushan Chao Building, the headquarters of Blue Focus in Beijing, there are more than 4,000 people working there. In 2013, Blue Focus invested 350 million RMB shares in a veteran British international public relations company named Huntsworth, headquartered in London. Meanwhile, Blue Focus also acquired the world's leading social media communications company from the UK, named We Are Social, with 82.84% of the shares, in order to obtain and share its talents and tools inside such an innovative digital marketing company. And in July 2014, Blue Cursor acquired 75% of the shares of the world's leading industrial design company, Fuse Project, with 290 million RMB, which was founded in 1999 and headquartered in San Francisco. Holly Chung, living in San Francisco, is the president of the Blue Focus, responsible for overseas business, and is a pioneer in the development of the Blue Focus overseas.
蓝标成立于96年，所以发展到今天十几年路程呢，对我们来讲，感觉也像弹指一挥间。那要是从整个国际的这个传播行业的发展来讲，其实不会仅仅是一个跟随者的角色，它甚至在一些方面会是一个这个倡导者和领导者的角色。 我们现在开始做一些全球化的并购，像大家都已经了解到的。那这个中间包括我们在英国有投资2家公司，一家是 Harmsworth Group， 这个是一家老牌的这个英国的公关集团。第2家就是 We Are Social。那最近我们做了一件事情，大概大家会发觉比较有趣，就是我们在旧金山湾区硅谷那一带收购了一家公司叫 Fuse Project。Fuse Project 呢是全球顶尖的一个设计公司。 收购这个企业时候受到很多问题，包括就是说你以前是一个所谓的公关的或者做广告的公司，怎么会想到来收购一个设计公司？因为很大程度上我们是希望能够把一个整个品牌的 story 通过不同的渠道，但是以统一的这个 message 能够那个传播出来。那 Fuse 在这一点上是非常有优势的。
For everything happening in the Chinese business creativity area, Ms. Normandy Madden has the most right to speak. Normandy is an expert in studying and researching the challenges and opportunities faced by the emerging markets in Asia and Europe, especially in China. Not only does she regularly publish the latest Chinese marketing research article and books, but also she is the executive producer of Thoughtful China. Thoughtful China is a network talk show mainly about Chinese advertising creativity. Before joining Thoughtful Media Group in February 2011, Normandy worked in Advertising Age as the Asia region editor for 13 years. From 2005 to 2010, she served the China region as managing director and editor in Advertising Age. Normandy has a profound insight into Asian consumers. She has interviewed numerous executives from creative and media companies worldwide.
The state-run companies haven't traditionally understood branding and marketing in the same way as Western companies. A brand is something that a customer wants to buy. They go into a store and they have a good feeling about the brand, they want to buy it, and they're choosing it. And a name is not the same thing. So I don't think that some of these state companies really understand that. Some of the private companies, I think, are moving further ahead, like Li Ning and Anta in sportswear would be 2 examples of companies which have done relatively well in terms of creating a brand. They haven't succeeded overseas as much as they might have, but it's still early days yet, I think, for these companies. A case like Lenovo is a little bit different because they expanded rapidly overseas, mostly through acquisition. So I think that's a little bit of a special case, but they've also done quite well. One of the things that really characterizes the Chinese market is the speed. This market moves very, very quickly, and one example is a brand like WeChat, which has only been around for a couple of years and already has a global presence and has done extremely well overseas. Some people, the agencies like to blame the client and say that they're not ready to take risks, or that that they don't think that consumers are ready, for something that's too creative or too, too daring. And I think it's also a matter of the size of China, because it's such a large market. So, you've got a lot of different sort of cultures within the Chinese market. China's not one country, it's 30 countries. So if you're trying to create an ad or a campaign that will work, nationally, that's a really big challenge.
Chinese branding is growing rapidly, especially the private enterprise. They are ahead of the state-owned enterprises. Success of WeChat is seen as part of their own terms. Of course, the biggest problem of Chinese branding currently is talents. For business creativity in China, Due to its special market and culture, companies must learn to be empathetic and patient. BBDO is one of the world's renowned advertising creative companies, established in the United States in 1891. It currently has 15,000 professionals, working in 81 countries and 289 offices worldwide. Its China branch has acquired numerous awards. At the ROI Festival, Andrew Robertson, BBDO's global CEO, shares his love for China.
China is a remarkable country. In the advertising business, it's a relatively new country. The advertising business is in the context of 5,000 years. And then the speed, sheer speed with which they apply all of that learning to whatever it is that they're working on. And that energy and speed is something that I find it really invigorating.
Another important reason behind the rapid development of Chinese business creativity is the unanimous support and action in this whole country, from top to bottom. Besides having a population of 1.3 billion people, China also has 23 provinces, 5 autonomous regions, 4 municipalities, and 2 special administrative regions. It is a unified multi-ethnic country with 56 nationalities. Its management complexity is no less than the whole of Europe. Every local people's government is the executive organ of the local people's Congress, set up to regulate, lead, supervise, and manage the administrative organs. But the local government of China is different from the federated state government of the United States, which has relative independence, autonomy, legislation, and free formulation of industrial policy. Whereas the Chinese central government has the absolute leadership of local governments, every major national strategy or policy decision is from the highest levels of CPC Central Committee, General Secretary, and the Premier's instructions. And then it is implemented and carried out from top to bottom, level by level. On November 8, 2012, the 18th National Congress of the Communist Party of China was held in Beijing. When he was the CPC Central Committee General Secretary, Hu Jintao made a report to the Congress. In it, he called for promoting the rapid development of cultural industries as soon as possible, as an important part of the report. In December 2013, Xi Jinping, the General Secretary, made it clear during the collective learning in the Politburo, enhancing national cultural soft power relates to our country's positioning in the pattern of world culture, to our country's international position and international influence. In January 22, 2014, at a State Council executive meeting, Premier Li Keqiang clearly deployed to promote cultural creativity and design services, and the related integration and development of industries, and determined 5 measures, every one of China's General Secretary and Premier's attention to cultural industrial creativity pushes every ministry and organ to make a series of guidelines and policies to stimulate the development of this industry. Among these policies, what caught the most attention to the world is China's protection of the intellectual property right. After joining the WTO, China has been criticized by some countries who believe that China's IPR protection is not strong enough. There is no safeguard of the interests of creators, and therefore, it is not good for cultivating the soil of growing creativity. China Advertising Association, founded in 1983, is an institution directly under the State Administration for Industry and Commerce. Chinese commercials are in charge by the State Administration for Industry and Commerce's Advertising Department. It is the most influential advertising organization in China. In many provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities, there are 51 Advertising Association members, more than 600 organization members, more than 400 individual members, and 15 professional associated organizations. Regarding the speed of China, the president of the China Advertising Association, Li Dongsheng, thinks the following.
其实中国的快，你要仔细的要研究一下为什么快。实际上，我们也是吸收了全世界的经验，也包括知识产权也是。我所知道的是，因为知识产权它主要保护利嘛，保护利和名嘛，而中国的传统文化当中，文人是耻于谈利，但是对名还是很重视的。比方说，我们想起这个在晋朝吧，离现在有1700年了。 当时有个作家姓左的老先生写了一个三都赋，非常有名，后来就引起了我们现在一个成语叫洛阳纸贵，因为他这三都赋写得太好了，人人都抄，在洛阳嘛，所以纸都卖得贵了，洛阳纸贵就从那儿来了。其实大家都在那儿抄，你说当时这个左老先生跟他说了我的版权，你们都给我交钱吗？没有，不仅没有，我的设想啊，我的推理，他还很高兴，帮我扬名了，是不是？我们的知识产权的发展起点保护，也就是30多年的历史，改革开放以来，所以这30多年，我们能够有立法，而且我想这个很多的国内的、国外的知识产权界的人士都看到，应该说发展的是相当快，但是不否认现在有很多的问题，所以在这个时候，我们一定会去加大知识产权保护的力度。
China State Council approved the establishment of the Chinese Patent Office in 1980. In 1998, it was renamed as the State Intellectual Property Office. Back in 1787, the word patent was written into the U.S. Constitution. In 1802, the U.S. National Patent Office was established in Washington. The Chinese government has only 3 decades of experience. To be asked to do it as well as a country that has over 200 years of history is unfair. The success of business creativity is significant for the promotion of Chinese culture. Bona Film Group, founded in 2003, is the first entertainment group from mainland China listed on NASDAQ, listing code BONA. In the United States, it is China's only one video content production company that has a whole industry chain layout and has strong distribution capabilities. The main business segments include film and television production, film distribution, theater investment, cinema management, advertising and marketing, talent agent, and so on. As the company's founder and entrepreneur, Yu Dong sees the issue of globalization more clearly, and on a larger scale, the founder and chairman of Bona, Yu Dong's dream is that one day China's films will go global.
为什么中国电影可以成为世界上有影响力的电影？是因为我们有庞大的13亿人口。就说如果我们要进入好莱坞市场，实际上是要拍英语片的，这是一个基本前提。那么英语片呢，这里面又要有中国的故事、中国的人物，因为中国随着改革开放这30年，越来越多的中国人的情感的故事跟在海外发生，我觉得这些呢都是观众要看的，所以就是要投资制作用英语拍摄的这样的题材。换句话说，就是我们找美国导演，要美国写编剧拍中国人的故事，是不是全球化？非常性。《窃听风云》的1、2、3，我们准备把它翻拍成北美的时候，过去我们《无间道》只是卖了一个重拍权，但是这一次不同，这一次是我们要求一半一半的投资，我是投资方之一，然后把它拍成一部英语片。那么故事核是什么呢？是把它的监听、操纵股市、幕后交易，把它变成华尔街的故事。所以这样的一种英语电影，直接进入英语片发行，同时可以作为引进片或者是合拍片，在中国可以发行。电影是融入价值观的产品，你带入你的文化的输出和文化的影响力，在全世界英语片的市场里面放映。
On September 19, 2014, the Chinese internet company Alibaba was officially listed for trading at the New York Stock Exchange, closing at $93.89 on the same day, with a 38.07% increase. Its market capital reached $231.439 billion, exceeding Facebook to become the second largest internet company after Google. The figure tops the GDP of Portugal, while in a traditional economic sphere, China's companies need time to grow to compete on a global sphere, while in the new economy, especially in the internet industry. China has 4 seats in the 10 most valuable internet companies in the world, while the other 6 belong to the United States. Michael Moritz, the U.S. venture capitalist, partner at the renowned venture firm Sequoia Capital, commented on his LinkedIn page. Since Alibaba topping the world's largest IPO, with a market capital of $1.7 trillion worldwide, for the top 50 most valuable internet companies, $530 billion and 15 companies are contributed by China. In 2014's list, there are no Chinese semiconductor, networking, enterprise software, or storage companies. But 10 years from now, everything will be different. An influential persona in the U.S. venture capital industry, Michael Moritz's comment predicted that the Chinese enterprise's globalization will not stop here. They will attract more attention from the world. With its unique speed and rhythm, the Chinese market will continue to grow and expand in the next decades. Many notice how fast China has developed recently, but the hard work, the learning, and innovation has much less seen.
哎呀，这个问题，
喝酒和关系，这的确是事实。
就是尊重，然后要真实。
即使是喝酒，可能也是这个半杯一杯，这个浅尝辄止，这个非常优雅文雅的这样喝酒。
我觉得到了中国，慢慢的这些外国的朋友还是可以适应的。
我们公司就很清楚，我们送礼的还是靠你们工作的一些成绩来评估。
我们现在其实有很多地方，他们其实是非常尊重那些国际合作伙伴的习惯，他基本上不需要跟客户去喝酒，只要把专业谈好就可以了。
这是一个误会嘛？这是误会嘛？那中国的社会本来就是要有关系。你说，比如说奥美在美国做广告，他不需要关心吗？他还是要关心嘛，只是大家建立关系的方式不同。
中国人是好客的，所以都想把自己最好的东西给别人，而恰恰呢，我们很多的外国朋友呢，他不是从这种文化里出来。
A lot of the Chinese, I think, are not even necessarily in favor of, the heavy alcohol consumption that has been characterized in the Chinese market. But in terms of doing business, it does help to really have a social strategy. There is a lot of karaoke and a lot of, drinking and dining, and a certain amount of that really has to be done for a foreigner to succeed here.
我们去欣赏和包容差异性，也许是一件非常有乐趣的事情，而不是一件痛苦的事情。